Hello everyone, this is Jonathan Little for PokerNews.com. Here we have another hand from a $3,000 buy-in World Series of Poker event. They fold around to me in the small blind, and if you remember the previous hand I posted here on Poker News, I limped the small blind with Jack 4 offsuit, which was quite a terrible hand. And here we have a much better hand, but actually it's not that much better because twos are quite weak. We have pocket twos in the small blind with about a 45 big blind stack. We're playing 50,000 deep at 600, 1200. So I'm going to limp with this as I would limp with most of my playable hands. And this time, the player in the big blind raises to 4,200. Now, with Jack 4 offsuit, like in the last hand, I would have folded. Here, we're going to call. Some people may think we need to take a really aggressive stance with this because we have a pair, and a lot of people think, oh my god, pairs are great. The problem, though, especially with 2s, 3s, and 4s, is that if we get significant action, we are usually going to be in terrible shape because our opponent's going to have something like ace-king, ace-queen, and then all the better pairs. And that's not really where you want to be. So we're just going to limp and call. We are going to end up folding a lot of the time on the flop, but even then, we're getting great immediate implied odds. And our hand, when we do make a set, is going to be way stronger than our opponent will expect on most boards. So that's going to lead to us getting paid off a decent amount. So anyway, in this spot, the flop comes queen, 10-7. I'm going to check fold, and that's going to be the end of the hand. So we don't get the opportunity. Instead, our opponent checks behind, and the turn is a beautiful 2. Hello. So now, when the opponent checks behind on the flop, what does he likely have? He probably has either a marginal queen, a 10, maybe a 7, or a hand like ace-king or ace-jack. So knowing that, how much will he call if I bet? I think he's probably going to call a medium-sized bet with almost that entire range. So I would like to see a bet of something like 6,000 in this scenario into the 10,000 pot. I decided to go for 4,000, and I think this is a little bit small. I imagine a slightly larger bet would have gotten called almost equally as often and would have just extracted more value. So this was a little bit of a mistake on my end, I think. So he does call. And then the river is an ace. So that is great. So now, should I bet or should I check? Well, if he has a queen or a 10, he's always going to check behind. But if I bet, he may easily decide to make a slightly hero call. If he has an ace, he's obviously never going to fold if I bet. But if I check, he may get scared and check behind. Or he may bet and then fold to a check raise. However, if I blast it, and notice here, I do decide to bet 15,000 into the 18,000 pot, he's pretty much never going to fold an ace. And I do think a lot of people will find a hero call given the backdoor flush draw missed, and there are a lot of straight draws that miss. Notice Jack 9 missed, 9-8 missed, and then all of the gut shots like Queen 9 missed. So, I'm sorry, not Queen 9, Jack 8 missed. So this is a pretty nice spot to go for a sizable bet. I don't think we need to go too large because then your opponent may actually start to make rather large folds, and that's the last thing you want to have happen. So I like a 15,000 bet, and I do expect to get called here a lot. It may not seem like a big deal, but betting a little bit less on the turn has now forced me to bet a little bit less on the river. So I ended up costing myself a few thousand chips because of my small turn bet sizing error. Anyway, that's the kind of nitpicky thing that I'm often thinking about because that stuff matters in the long run. So this time I do bet the 15,000 and the opponent calls. So we're going to win, clearly. And he has ace-king. So as expected, he played the hand pretty straightforwardly, which is not necessarily bad. But as played, I certainly missed out on some value. I think a lot of people just scoop up the pot and they're thrilled. They're like, oh yeah, I got him. But in reality, he got us because he got to save probably 5,000 chips or so. So that's going to be it for this hand for PokerNews.com. I want to thank you all for being here today. If you all have any poker or any other type of questions for me, definitely let me know on Twitter @JonathanLittle. I am happy to help. Thanks a lot, and I will talk to you next time.